Hello, my name is Justin, and before I get into my topic that I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to ask everyone three important questions. And question number one being, do you believe in climate change? So raise your hand if it is yes, and please do not raise your hand if it is no. Question number two, do you think everyone deserves safe working conditions? Question number three, have you shopped for clothes in the past month? So today, all these questions are relevant to my topic of fast fashion. Now, fast fashion, by definition, is inexpensive clothing produced rapidly by mass market retailers in response to the latest fashion trends. So this means this is all the clothing that you see when you go to the mall, when you go to your outlets. So like I'm talking about stores like Nike, like Kohl's, H&M especially, Forever 21, Zara. And these brands they make their clothes in primarily third world countries. And they do this because one, it is cheaper, and two, they're smart and they're sneaky. And what happens is in these third world countries, people make clothes in buildings called sweatshops. And sweatshops are horrible buildings to work in. You do not want to work in a sweatshop because these people work 14-hour shifts to be able to barely survive off the money that they're getting paid. And a lot of these workers don't have a livable wage that make the clothes that you buy at the store, especially if your clothes are cheap. So you go to H&M and you buy a shirt that's less than $10. The reason why the price is so cheap is because the people making these clothes are getting paid peanuts, so that is why the price is low for you. So when you go into a store and you buy that shirt, you're paying more than $10, in my opinion. But back to the sweatshops. And in these sweatshops, if your t-shirt happens to have different colored dyes on them, then these people that dye the shirts are exposed to harmful chemicals that are used to go into dyeing clothing, and they have little to no protection, most of them. And they have no way to get justice even if they do get sick. Also, when workers are sewing your clothes, they have to sew quickly because they have to produce a whole bunch for that day or for that hour. And if they don't meet it, then they can get in big trouble with the person that is running that sweatshop on that floor. Also, sweatshop buildings aren't safe. They're not safe at all. In fact, a few years ago, there was a sweatshop that collapsed and over 1,000 people died in this sweatshop. And this kind of woke up the fashion world, but didn't wake them up enough because a lot of companies still have workers working in sweatshops making their clothes that you see on display at stores in your mall or at your outlets. And if you look at the tag on the back of your clothing, most times it is from third world countries, especially being India, Myanmar, Indonesia. All the countries located in Southeast Asia are big primary countries to the fast fashion industry because companies can find cheap labor in these nations. Now, fast fashion is also horrible for the environment because a lot of the clothes we wear, only 20% of our wardrobe is actually worn on a regular basis. So that means the rest of our clothes just aren't. And when we get rid of clothes because one, they're not in style, maybe they don't fit, or it was made so cheaply because it was made for less than $10 and it was made for $10 that it doesn't last. So what do? We donate it or we throw it away. And a lot of the clothes that we donate to Goodwill, to Salvation Army, are completely thrown away, trashed, incinerated. And there's only a small percent that actually end up on the shelves of these thrift stores. Now I'm going to be holding up two articles of clothing. Article 1, Article 2. Now you tell me which one you think was I thrifted or which one was I bought at a store. This one I thrifted, this one I bought at a store. So there's no difference. And you do have to look when you go thrifting for articles of clothing, but this is the most effective way to prevent the fast fashion industry from gaining even more traction, because fashion is in everyone's everyday lives. It's how we express ourselves. So it is important for people to find other different ways to buy clothes. And one of the solutions to that is thrifting And also there are shops that allow you to borrow clothing, which is really important, and then you return the clothes and you pay like a renter's fee. And that is a quick synopsis on fast fashion. Thank you for listening. And I hope that this discussion opened your eyes on to when you buy clothes and how quickly you buy clothes and what the process is of making these clothes. Thank you.